Hey, welcome to Faulkner Fixes All. Guess what we're doing today? Same old stuff. We're going to work on this 65 down tube shift varsity. One of the last years for that. Anyway, let's look at the stuff that Fred gave me the other day. I went over there for a couple of simple parts, and like Fred is, he totally loaded me up with stuff I probably don't need. No, actually, it's pretty cool. So Fred, I needed these parts here. These go in the frame. Well, I can show you on this bike he's gave me. Well, I'll show you on this one. Yeah, these go right here. They go up in there. And that allows you to run the brake cable, and they go here. Actually, this one goes like this. And the cable goes, you know, to the brake, but this part is bare wire. And this is Schwinn's way of making the brake stiffer, actually, and also saving on housing. I don't know which was better or what they were doing, but it works out good. Anyway, you need to have these, 2 of them per bike. And I only had one, so I went over there for that. And also for these cranks, which he donated most graciously. They're triangulated. They're for 10-speed. Probably off that varsity right there. I'm not quite sure. They're dated 2 of 74. Nice pair. Threads are good. Chrome is decent. Thank you, Fred. Very generous of you. He gave me this little stubby seat post, which you can use on a bike that's really tall that you're not going to extend it very much. I don't know what the story on that is. Looks like somebody got pretty happy with a hacksaw. And I got these from Puerto Rico. We'll talk about that in a minute. And he gave me 2 wheels. One was a 700C, and one was a Weinmann LP18. And this is funny because it's made by Weinmann. It's a 27 by 1, so a 27 by 1.25 tire will fit on that. But what got me was it says something about safety line, or safety line. And then in little red letters, little red thing right there, it says subject to wear. I thought that was hilarious. I guess there's little grooves in here that they groove in. I'm not sure, but you know, I thought all rims were subject to wear, but maybe it's only this one. Anyway, I trued it up pretty good. I repacked it. It's a nice front wheel. 27 by 1.25 will fit. And it's a decent wheel. Thank you, Fred. It's not bad. I did have to repack it. It was pretty crusty in there. But there was another wheel too. He gave me a 700C rear, which is inconsequential because it doesn't really fit anything we have unless we're going to make another 700C conversion bike, which I'm not going to do right now. Anyway, he gave me this frame. And nothing to write home about, really. I don't know what year it is. I haven't really checked yet. Let's see what it is. JD. Wow, that's a weird stamping. Look at the space between the J and the D. Oh, there's another letter there. Yeah, something's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. J something. Yeah, I'll have to sand that and look at it. But anyway, this frame has seen better days, and I don't know what we're going to do with it. It does have some nice parts on it. This chrome piece here, the bearings, my favorite top part that holds the bearing in. I like that because it keeps dirt out. Does not seem to have a washer there that's supposed to have. Emblem's gone. That's all right, Fred. You know, I know how it is on emblems. You know, it's just beat. It's not dented or anything. It's not bent. But it's just not really something I'm going to bring back. You know, I don't know. Sand it all down, make an art bike out of it. I'm not quite sure. But one good thing is this kickstand is stamped 355. And I'm hoping that it's a better stand than the one in there's one over here in that bike, and it's not quite right, and I'm hoping this was going to be better, even though the finish isn't as good. But it might be the correct bend. We will try that later. But for now, let's get busy. Anyway, that's the parts haul. Thank you, Fred. Like I really need another yellow Varsity that's all scratched up. Got quite a few. Anyway, probably make an art bike out of it. Or a buddy of mine was saying when he gets these that are just all chipped up, he bead blasts it, he sands it down to clear metal, and then he clear coats it, and they turn out pretty good. I mean, there's not a lot left on here, folks. I would hate to do that. It's only original once, but I mean, it's just not a lot going on. There's just not a lot left, you know. Primer there, big spots and chunks on the bars. We'll see. Comment down below, tell me what to do. I'll put a link of those other yellow Varsities I work on, but really, another yellow Varsity. But you know, parts are parts, and that kickstand could work on this other bike. Anyway, I got this from Puerto Rico. There is an issue. These are mismatched, but that doesn't concern me right now. We're just gonna see how they're poking out here too. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do, and there's some weird washers in here and stuff. I think what we're gonna do is just take it apart real quick, put this inner ring on these cranks, clean this up a little bit, chuck it in, and then later we can put this outer ring on later. But for now, let's just chuck it in. We got to get things rolling here. And I did change the brakes from, they were 2.8s, and they were too long. The fronts were barely working, but I did change them to the 2.4s. I got really lucky. I went through all my parts and built a bunch of brakes methodically, and I did change these both to Schwinn approved 2.4s, and those are correct for this bike now. There's plenty of adjustment there now. See, plenty of adjustment for the pad to go up and down. You could probably even run 700Z tires on this now if you wanted to, but we're not. It's just too much trouble. Front one's all ready to go too. Also changed that to a 2.4. Nice new pads in there. I got this little thing on here to keep it from dangling. What happens when you work on these bikes is you can tell right here, that's from this swinging in and hitting. I'm not going to show you because I would have to undo that. And then you know, there's a mark here, there's a mark here, and yeah, that's from people swinging the bars in and hitting things. So when you're working on bikes, try to get that right. Anyway, let's get these, let's quit jibber jawing, and we are going to unbolt this top ring real quick like, and then we're going to save everything because I don't know which is correct. That 10, yeah, I don't know what's correct, those Phillips head ones or the other ones. I know the washers, I know these are all funky. In between here is all funky, and these are, some of these are too long, 3 of them. So we're going to research that and all, but for now we're just going to undo it. Oh yeah, and they're kind of loose. Okay, can you guys see me here? Yeah, you guys are all right. Okay, it's all about me. This rim out of the way. I thought that was pretty funny about the Weinmann rim with the subject to wear sticker on it. If anybody knows anything about that, or if you have a matching rear rim or a spare rim that's not strung up, that is a Weinmann L18 safety line rim, it doesn't have to have the sticker on it. If it's just the same kind of rim, it's 27 by 1. And if you have that, please let me know. I'd like to get another rim for the back, just because it's a set. It's not totally necessary, but I think it's really funny that stickers on there, subject to wear. Dude, really? I didn't know bicycle rims wore. I thought they were just, you know, they just stayed true and the finish stayed perfectly fine on them, and they, you know, they were just sitting in a vacuum in outer space somewhere. Yeah, these are like, you know what these are? These are bolts from a Japanese car. Yeah, I'd recognize that washer that's pressed on there anywhere. Yeah, these are like Toyota valve cover bolts or something. Yeah, I don't think any of these are correct. Wow. Yeah. That's like some kind of valve cover bolt for a 22R Toyota engine. Yeah, these are all Japanese. That's okay, because that's a nice piece. It is Nervar. And this is also Nervar. And you can tell that it was a 10-speed because the top gear is always in really good shape. Not much wear on that. Especially in Puerto Rico, it's all mountains. And then there's these funky weird spacers. Oh yeah, we got a canyon here. You know, this is obviously a 5/16 lock. You know, 5/16 lock. A square washer of some sorts. Another lock. This is the only thing that's correct, and it's probably not correct because it's not fat enough. Well, we'll save these for sure. These, another couple washers. There's only 3 here that are good. 4. Okay. Yeah, I think these might be correct. I'm not sure about the spacing. We'll save everything. I mean, at least I know these Japanese threads are, something's going on. At least they thread in. Worst case scenario, I could retap this. But you know what we're going to do? We're just going to put this on and look at the wear on this. You know, you're always in that lower gears on a 10-speed. You're never really in that big one unless you're in Bonneville Salt Flats. All right, let's shine this up a little. We'll crunch it on here, and we'll put it in. Because we got stuff to do, son. Now, I could bring this over to Fred's and, you know, put it in this magical solution, but we don't have time for all that. No one's got time for all that. Oh, the steel wool. Oh, no, not the steel wool. Oh, you're supposed to dip it in citric acid for 4 days. Sorry. Sue me now. Okay, good. Okay, so these are the only thing I really want to save is these 4 washers. These are the only thing out of that I want to save. Oh, and by the way, I did know about the condition of this. I looked at it very carefully on eBay, and the seller was very honest. Guy from Puerto Rico, nice guy. He was very honest. There's lots of pictures. It was a good deal. There was no, you know, I knew those fasteners were wrong. But when you're trying to get rare parts, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Okay, goes in the peg right there. Now these are triangulated cranks from the 70s, probably from that bike right there. But it will work. See, what happens is when you use these replacement cranks on a bike with a chain guard, sometimes because of this angle, it's really tight right here, and you got to mess with the chain guard or it rubs. But since we're not worried about a chain guard and it is going on a 10-speed bike, there's no problem here. It's just the wrong part. This is a 74, February of 74, going on a 65. But that's the way it is. Okay, so that's ready to go. Let's spray this down with something real quick. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay out there in YouTube land. It's been a while since I posted something on this bike. I have been busy. If you've watched the other videos of me welding truck parts, doing various things to survive after the hurricane, it has definitely changed our little world here in Weaverville. Things are a little different. Okay, that's pretty clean. The wear is decent. Fred gave me some good parts. Thank you, Fred. No brittling. The wear is right in the middle there. That's a nice piece. And this is right-hand thread on this particular part. This left-hand thread. This is always right. Okay, let's go over to the vise and crunch this. And, well, before we do that, let's clean this part off. We're going to clean that. Check that one out, because we can. Always good to spray volatile cleaner directly on your hand. I'm a professional. Okay. So this is a good part. Yeah. Fred hooked me up again. Yeah, I don't see any issue here. Nice and shiny. The wear is right in the middle. There's no brittling. No one's pounded on this with a hammer. No problem there. The Schwinn stamp is good and deep. Sometimes the Schwinn stamp is across this piece, and people get excited about that. The notches. They, for some reason, they think that if the Schwinn stamp is across that hole, that notch for adjusting, that the part is weaker. I can't. Just saying like it is, man. You know, and I know, that having that stamp across the adjusting, having that across the adjusting wedge slot doesn't mean a hill of beans. But, you know, I mean, how could that weaken the part? Okay, here's the part. What they're saying is, if the Schwinn stamp, which is right here, I'll shine it up a little. They're just saying, if the Schwinn stamp is stamped over the adjusting notch, the part is weaker. Okay, I don't know what world you guys live in, but this is the real world here. Okay, that's pretty clean. Sorry to show us some of the grudge work, but this is kind of what, 90% of fixing things is cleaning parts. It's just the way it is. Okay. All right, so we're good here. Sometimes I take this and run it on a file a little bit just to make sure it's flat. Oh yeah, see? I'll show you what that picked up. See right there, that was a little bit bent in, and it had a little flare on there. Yeah, I messed with the plating a little bit, but at least that's right. That's nice and flat now. You know? It's good to check. And if you're really, super whammy, you can run that across there too. These have to be flat. Everything's got to be flat. Everything's got to be flat and greased and doing its thing. Okay. Let's see. Let's go and put some grease in the cones. Make sure the cones are good. Then we're going to put this in. Let's go back over here. And now's the time to get rid of my little bungee cord because it's in the way. Yeah, I'm sorry this bike is taking so long. It's just been a few things happening in the world that made life a little bit little difficult. That cone looks pretty good. Let's get this junk off here. We'll put this here. Oh my God. Okay. I'll put this up here. There we go. That'll hold that. All right, let's clean this other side. Time for a new towel. Okay, those look pretty good. Yeah, these are fine. Let's get you in here so you can see what's going on. Yeah, there's no problem with that. Slight wear. Schwinn had it going on, man. That's all I can say. If this was like a newer bike, this would be just completely pitted. They hardened their parts correctly. They finished them and hardened them. And these are, unless rust gets to them, they're pretty in good shape. Sometimes I've seen a few that are just so worn, you have to replace them. But you know, when you see that wear right in the middle there, nice and shiny and smooth, you're good to go. All right, let's grease it up and slap these cranks in. We got stuff to do, bro. Okay. You don't need super gobs. You'd be surprised. Bicycle bearings in general are very hard. They are very hardened. They have to work in low RPM conditions with very little grease because no one ever greases their bike. But no, bike bearings are quality. They are hardened in a way. Well, back in the day, they were hardened in a way that the actual races wear, but the bearings themselves, unless they crack in half from someone doing a jump or doing something stupid. Don't ask me why I know this. They do pretty well. Okay. Okay, we got some cranks. All right, so like I said earlier, we're gonna deal with that outer ring later when I find out what's going on with the spacers and fasteners and if I have to tap these to a different size. Let's just say, let's chuck them in now and deal with that other part later. It's a good Nervar part. It's stamped Nervar. It is correct for 65 Schwinn Varsity. It was a lot to find these and get them, but we got them. Okay, so when we go, and try not to gob everything with grease. Okay. There's that. There's this other bearing on this other side. And left-hand thread on this. So I'm spinning it backwards, but on the camera right now, it looks like it's right-hand thread, but it's not. If the camera was in the other way, I'd be going left. And might bring you over there when I do the final adjustment. It's a big deal to get these cranks in. That means it's always a big deal when you actually get the cranks in the bike. You feel like, oh, this is something that might happen soon. I can actually pedal it. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's put that washer on. We need an adjustable. Flip you over here. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that's good. Okay, some excess grease. There's some excess grease, and you want to wipe it off. But don't get too happy. Wipe some on your finger and put it on the threads on that, on the nut. And you know, rub this washer around on it too. Then you don't have to go dipping in your grease again. You're multitasking. Okay, so I filed that washer a little bit. It's nice. Okay, and I'm gonna go left hand thread backwards. Okay, left hand on this one. Alright, and now we're gonna wipe that excess off. And you know, if you go down and wipe the excess off and some gets in this thread where the pedal is, that's an added bonus. And there you go, so a little bit got in there. Alright. Alright, feels good. Okay, so what have we learned? That buying parts from Puerto Rico is okay. Yeah. And Fred hooked me up with some cranks. They feel pretty good. Let's see here. Let's loosen them up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah. And I can't really get the final tighten on it sitting like that. I'll have to come in like this. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty good for now. A little tight. We'll run them and then readjust them. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right, so got the cranks in. Let's take this kickstand out and compare it to the other one from that frame that Fred gave me. But first, let's measure the frames. Okay. I can't remember what size this is. It appears to be a 20-inch frame. All right, let's go over here and measure this parts frame that Fred gave me. And this frame, in the center to there. Oh, this is a 22. Well, the kickstand is stamped 355. Let's take it out and just compare it to the other one. That other one looks nice, but it's not doing very well. Spark tool. Grab that out. Let that pop back. Oh, looks like someone's had grease on that before, huh? I wonder if Fred was going to try to ride this thing. That's not his style to ride 10 speeds. Okay. Yeah. There's the 3 notches. That always goes down when you're putting these back in the frame. Okay. 22-inch frame. This is stamped 355. We're going to see. We're just going to see. All right, let's go back over here. We could spray this up and clean it a little bit. I might. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough, folks. That's some nasty old grease on there. Oh, yeah. We'll do something. Cleaning it up to see if it will work in the other frame. Why don't we just put it in? Because I don't want all that contaminated stuff in there. You know, it's pretty bad. And since we have it out and we're looking at it, look at this pin very carefully here. Oh, it's really worn. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. I don't know, folks. That's pretty bad. Dang. Yeah, I don't know if we're even going to try that. Man, that's really worn. Man. Well, let's take the other 355 out and just compare it to this. And then at least we know if we got to rebend it or use the pin off of another one. But let's take this out. It's just not doing it for me. Okay, good. Boom. I'll take the pin out, which we have. And then boom. That comes out. And see this one. The pin is still pretty worn, but not too bad. This pin right here. Let's see. Should we just throw the other one in and see what happens? Yep. Yeah, the bend is different. The bend is different. Yeah. Let's go over here. Okay. All right. Yeah, the bend is just slightly different. It's just a little bit different. Like 1/8 of an inch. We're going to try to put it in, even though the pin is worn. I think we're just going to try to put this in and see how it feels. That other one was terrible. It was just not doing its job. Okay, we're going to grease this up. And where's the tool? There it is. Okay, let's go over here. Put it in. Okay. Yeah, that other one definitely looked better. It was chrome. But chrome doesn't get you home. Yeah, we're gonna find out. Pretty hard to do with the pin sitting in your hand. Okay. Not bad. Yeah, the pin's a little worn. See how that's wobbling up and down? We might change that pin to a better one later. That's not too bad. Okay, well, the proof will be setting it on the ground and seeing what happens. And then we'll cable the back brake. All right, let's put this on the ground real quick and see how the kickstand works. Come on, son. Okay. Oh, it's better. Yes. Just that slight bend difference. Yeah, before it was like ready to fall over a lot. Just that slight difference. Oh, yeah, I can deal with that. This is much better. I mean, it's not great. But that's better than that chrome one, even though it doesn't look as good. And the pin is a little worn, which we can fix. That's not bad. I think that bend, this wasn't stamped. I don't think it's aftermarket, but it was not stamped. And I looked on the chart online and they said a 355 was correct for this Schwinn 355 stand. So I'm going with what the book says, and I'm good with that. Let's pop it back up and let's do the rear brake. We got a little time left. Obviously I won't be test riding this today, but yeah. All right, we're good. Hoppa! Okay, progress is progress, right? All right. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the rear brake. Let's kick this back up. That's why they call it a kickstand. Okay. Yeah, let's cable up this rear brake so I don't lose the pieces. So I don't lose these pieces. So these brakes on here are 2.4s. They're all greased and ready and adjusted. And all we got to do is put a new cable in. So let's put it in. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. I have to go get my, go find my box of ferrules. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't super prepared, but, you know, we're getting there. This, I don't really like these newer ones, but that's the way it is. All right, let's